Have you ever heard that saying, like, follow your passion and the money will follow?
Mm.
We're going to put that to the test today.
Oh, yeah.
We're diving into a Reddit post that sparked a huge debate online about dreams and responsibility.
Okay.
And this whole idea of, is advanced day trading an actual job or just a recipe for disaster?
Yeah, it's a question a lot of people are asking these days, and this Reddit post really kind of brings it all together. The original poster, a woman, she's dealing with some fallout from her partner quitting his blue-collar job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to pursue this passion, he says.
Hmm.
And the comments are all over the place. You've got people saying, follow your dreams. You've got people saying day trading is straight up gambling.
Oh, for sure. It's got to be a roller coaster to read through all of that.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the trading itself, right? It's about the impact on their relationship.
Right.
She's saying she's feeling financially burdened.
Yeah, and honestly kind of abandoned, too.
Yeah. So how do we even start to unpack all of this?
Well, I think first we got to understand what we're actually talking about here, right? The term advanced day trading gets thrown around, but I think a lot of people don't really get it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's not just, like buying and selling stocks on a whim.
Right.
These are complex strategies. A lot of these guys are using algorithms and leverage, trying to make money on, these tiny little price movements.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it gets really dangerous.
So it's not as easy as those YouTube ads make it seem.
No.
The ones with the Lambos and the I made millions from my laptop.
Exactly. Those ads, they prey on people wanting to get rich quick.
Totally.
But the reality is it's not that glamorous.
Yeah.
And the data really backs that up. Studies show that more than 99% of day traders actually lose money over a 5-year period.
99%.
Yeah.
Wow.
The odds are just stacked against them. You've got these big institutions, algorithms that are often really driving the market.
That makes all those comments, comparing it to gambling, that makes a lot more sense now. But what about the psychology of it all? The woman mentions her partner being depressed, self-medicating. Could that be tied to all the losses, do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Imagine just constantly facing failure.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you've put everything into this dream,
Mm-hmm.
your livelihood, your relationship, your sense of worth.
Your whole identity.
The stress can be immense,
Yeah.
Leading to anxiety, depression. A lot of people turn to drugs or alcohol just to cope.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's interesting reading through all these comments.
Mm-hmm.
So many people are questioning the guy's motives.
Really?
Yeah, they're suggesting he's using day trading as an escape, maybe to get away from a job he hated.
Right.
Not because he's actually passionate about it.
That's a good point. I think sometimes when we're unhappy in life, we latch on to these big ideas.
Yeah.
Almost as a way to avoid dealing with, deeper issues. The thought of escaping the mundane, becoming a financial rock star, it's very seductive.
Yeah.
Even if it's not really based on anything solid.
So it's not just the financial risk.
No.
It's this potential for, self-deception and avoiding responsibility.
For sure.
Man, this is getting kind of heavy.
It is.
Maybe we should, look at some of those advanced day trading memes to lighten the mood.
Oh, the ones where the guy's yelling at his computer?
Exactly.
I think those memes actually highlight something really important.
Okay.
They capture that emotional roller coaster that day trading can be.
Oh, yeah.
1 minute you're up, you're winning.
Yeah.
And then the next minute, you're looking into the abyss of financial ruin.
It's a lot of pressure.
It is. It's a recipe for burnout. And that's something this couple really needs to consider.
Yeah, definitely. So it sounds like we're moving from follow your passion to, proceed with extreme caution.
Yeah, I think so.
But where do we go from here? What are some things our listeners can take away from this?
That's a good question.
Especially if they're dealing with similar stuff in their own lives.
We'll be exploring that more in the next part of our deep dive. We'll look at the warning signs in this specific relationship, dig into the psychology of those get-rich-quick schemes, and talk about some alternative paths.
Okay.
Ones that might offer a better balance,
Yeah.
pursuing dreams without totally sacrificing financial stability.
Right. Or your well-being.
Exactly.
So we know that advanced day trading, it's not the golden ticket to riches that some people make it out to be.
Right.
But let's shift gears a bit. Focus on the relationship in this story.
Okay.
The woman in the Reddit post, she mentioned feeling really burdened, financially and emotionally. What are some red flags people should watch out for if they're in a similar situation?
Well, one big red flag is no income. After a year of supposedly working so hard, day trading, especially at the advanced level this guy claims to be at, it takes serious time and effort. So if he's not making any money after a year, it makes you wonder about his strategy or his dedication, or even if he's being honest.
It's interesting you say that about honesty because a lot of the commenters are questioning that too.
Yeah.
Whether he's actually being truthful about what he's doing,
Yeah.
or if maybe he's hiding losses, or doing even riskier stuff.
It's a valid concern. Day trading, it can be so secretive. And it's easy to get caught up in a cycle of denial and deception, especially when your ego and identity are tied up in it all.
And let's not forget, they've been together for 10 years and he still hasn't proposed.
Yeah.
Some people were saying she's being taken advantage of.
Yeah. The lack of commitment after that long is definitely concerning. It could point to a fear of responsibility or not wanting to fully commit to the relationship, and that could be made worse by all this financial instability.
So we've got these financial red flags, potential dishonesty, and lack of commitment. This is starting to sound pretty bad, but are there any positives here? Some people suggested maybe he could do day trading as a side hustle
Mm-hmm.
while keeping a stable job. Could that work?
It's possible. It's definitely a more balanced approach,
Yeah.
acknowledging that you need some financial security,
Right.
but still making space for your passions. But it requires a change in thinking. You got to accept that day trading might not make you rich quick.
Yeah.
It's more of a long-term thing that takes patience and discipline and a willingness to learn from your mistakes.
It also takes honesty and communication in the relationship. They need to be on the same page about their money goals and expectations, and how willing they are to share the burden. Maybe even a little less advanced day trading and a little more couples therapy.
That's a great point. It's easy to get so focused on the technical side of day trading.
Right.
The charts, the algorithms, the strategies. But this is really a human story about dreams and relationships and what happens when those two things clash.
It's a good reminder that money decisions are about more than just money. They're tied up with our emotions and our values. And sometimes the best thing you can do is talk to a professional, someone who can help you navigate all that.
Definitely. Whether it's a financial advisor who can help you make a budget and an investment plan, or a therapist who can help you work through the deeper emotional issues that might be causing problems.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm.
You know, as we're talking, I'm struck by how much good advice was in that Reddit thread.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a giant group therapy session where people are sharing their experiences and giving advice.
It really shows you the power of community and how important it is to have those spaces where you can talk about these things without being judged.
Yeah. And it shows that we're not alone in this.
Yeah.
So what's the takeaway for our listeners? What can they do if they're in a situation like this where their partner's money decisions are causing so much stress?
That's a great question, and it's one we'll dig into in the last part of our deep dive. We'll look at ways to communicate better, set boundaries, and find some common ground, even when it feels like your dreams and reality are miles apart.
All right, so we've talked about advanced day trading and how risky it can be, especially for relationships. But let's be real. Just telling someone, stop day trading, it doesn't usually work.
Right.
So what can our listeners do if they're in this situation? Feeling stuck, not sure how to move forward?
Well, it comes down to communication, setting boundaries, finding some common ground. First, you got to talk to your partner.
Yeah.
Open and honest about your worries, fears, needs, all of it.
But what if they just won't listen? The comments mentioned she tried talking to him, but he just dismissed her, saying she didn't understand his brilliant trading strategy.
Well, that's where boundaries come in. You got to be clear about what you're willing to put up with and what you're absolutely not okay with. Maybe that's setting a limit on how much money he can invest or making him be transparent about his trades, maybe even going to a financial advisor together.
Some people were saying she should give him an ultimatum, like get a real job or the relationship is over. Is that a good idea?
Ultimatums are tough. Sometimes they can be a wake-up call, you know?
Yeah.
Force someone to see what they're risking. But they can also backfire, create resentment, make the person defensive. If you go that route, you got to approach it with empathy.
Yeah.
Really wanting to find a solution that works for both of you.
What about those other options we talked about, like him doing day trading on the side while still having a stable job?
Yeah.
Could that be a compromise?
It could, but it takes a real shift in thinking. He's got to accept that day trading probably won't make him rich overnight.
Yeah, it's a long game.
It is. It takes patience, discipline, learning from mistakes. And again, honesty and communication are key. Both people got to be on the same page about their money goals and what they expect.
So like finding that balance between dreams and reality is super important. You know, seeing those what if possibilities, but also staying grounded.
Absolutely.
being responsible for how our choices affect ourselves and the people we love.
Exactly. Sometimes it means letting go of a dream or finding a new way to chase it that doesn't put everything at risk.
Yeah.
It's about finding happiness in the journey, not just fixating on the end goal.
This has been such a great deep dive. We didn't just talk about day trading, but also the human side of it,
Right?
the choices people make and how it affects their relationships.
It's important to remember you're not alone in this. And while there's no easy answer, communication, boundaries, and asking for help can make all the difference.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive into day trading, dreams, and relationships, be sure to subscribe to Voices of the Soul on your favorite podcast platform. We'll see you next time.